One.
Hi,
Hey,
besties.
besties.
I'm Michelle,
I'm Maddie.
and this is The Pop, your weekly pop culture podcast.
Very on
Welcome.
brand, on theme.
Can you figure out what we're talking about this week?
No? Okay. It's Kim Kardashian.
We're going to go over all things Kardashian, starting from the beginning, the OGs. And we're going to do a two-parter this week. So we'll talk about the beginning here, and next week you can come back to hear about recent news, everything going on in the media today. But before we get that, we have to do the backstory first.
Yeah.
That's
Because
very
this
important.
is like, what? It's 19 years of backstory.
That's the show. Wait,
From
the
what
show
yeah.
is 10 years, and then there's back before that as well.
Yeah.
I even drew up a family tree to try to make everything easy.
Okay, Mike's Mike.
Just to make everything easier as we go through so you can see the connections.
Oh my god. I love the not pictured at the bottom.
Well, because I didn't have enough room, and also they didn't have children, so like they were just there. I haven't done a family tree since like third grade. I didn't know how to put in people that don't like have children down the family
I thought
tree.
you were gonna say that don't exist, and I was like,
Well,
well, you don't.
sorry.
Well, you don't.
I think we should just go ahead and get started
Yeah, I think we should too.
because
Also,
there's
no
a
news this
lot to
week.
talk about.
Sorry,
Yeah,
not to do that again, but
but
we've
there's
got
a
a
lot to
lot
talk
to
about.
go over. So,
And I actually think this is really fascinating that every time I've gotten found more information, I was like, why doesn't anyone talk about this? So interesting.
yeah,
Like, learn probably one of the most famous and controversial families to ever exist
yeah,
in pop
like
culture and in
ever.
media. Yeah.
Just honestly, ever.
Honestly,
like,
ever. You know,
like,
fuck the Kennedys.
yeah, fuck them.
Forget like the
Fuck the
pharaohs
royal
of Egypt.
family.
Nope. It's
Yeah,
the Kardashians, the royal
it's the
family of
Kardashians.
America.
I was gonna say that's like
I think
technically
that's what
what they
they're.
are. Yeah, because we don't have one. I mean, we have like the presidential family, but they're not as like exciting. They're not exciting at all.
This
So,
one, it's drama left and right. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna start not all the way back to the beginning of Chris and Rob, but I'm gonna start with their marriage, and I'm gonna jump a little bit back and forth between the timeline, but that's just to make it a little bit easier to understand. It would be a lot if I'm like, this year 8 things happened, and then this blah blah blah.
Also, when she says Rob, she means Robert Kardashian, the father,
The senior,
not
yes,
the son. So,
yes.
yeah.
So starting back with Chris is marrying Robert Kardashian. Let me get my chart out. Okay, here's Rob. Here's Chris. Together, they have Courtney, Kim, Khloe, and Rob Jr.
Yes.
They end up getting divorced in 1991, and then Rob dies of cancer in 2003. This is all pretty well documented. If you watch the People versus OJ, the show, they talk a lot about Robert's career and things he's done. That whole trial brought, I think Robert Kardashian basically to the mainstream became much more of a household name after that trial.
Yeah.
If you
Definitely.
know John Mulaney, you might know the bit where he talks about how everyone in that trial deserved an Emmy because it was the best TV. It honestly, if you think about
I
it, people still talk about that trial.
well, yeah, we just had a TV show made about it recently. I
But
mean,
like,
I can't even imagine like being alive when that was happening. Like, we don't have a case like that. Like, the one that I can think of is like Casey Anthony or
but
like
not a
Jodi
case that like
Arias.
divides people like this. But
No.
this kind of celebrity,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not at that level.
no. But the thing that I found really interesting about the relationship is Chris admitted years later after Rob's death that the reason they got divorced is because she cheated on him. Not with now Caitlyn, Bruce at the time, Caitlyn, who she married the same year they got divorced, but with a different man who was a soccer player. And I think she wrote his name was Ryan, but then people have come out saying that was just a name she was using in the book.
Interesting.
I don't have the confirmation on that. What's
Huh.
even more interesting is that since after the divorce, Rob got married twice.
Did
He
he
had
really?
he got married twice. He had two different wives before then. His last wife he married 6 weeks before his death. He found out about his diagnosis 8 weeks before his death.
No way.
The math? Her name
Wait,
was,
that's insane.
yeah, her name was, Eileen Pearson. She's a real estate agent or mogul. I don't know how she calls herself today. The other interesting thing is that the family has accused her of altering his will prior to his death, which, if you don't know, even though the Kardashians are very well off and have always been well off, they've never really struggled financially.
Yeah.
After his Robert Kardashian's death, none of the family got access to his money. I think they were left a car and a small portion in relevance to how much he probably had.
Yeah.
Most of his property and wealth went to Eileen.
Damn.
So another fun fact, hold on, I'm not even done with Eileen yet. She's been sued by Kris for releasing diary pages where Kim threatened Kris. Now, as a child, I'd like to preference, Kim said, like, oh my God, I want to kill her. As a child, let's preference all this.
About Kris or about Eileen?
No, Kim wrote this about Kris in a diary. And I believe she also had diary pages from Rob Sr. That she also published. And Kris sued her and won, saying that the property did not belong to her. Other fun facts about Eileen, she is the originator of the rumor that Khloe is not Rob's daughter.
No.
She was the one who leaked it to the tabloids that he is possible and probable
OJ.
that Khloe is the daughter of OJ and Kris Jenner, not Robert Kardashian and Kris Jenner.
God damn. What did she fucking have against Kris Jenner?
According to everything I read, she is the most hated person in the Kardashian family.
Damn, no wonder we never hear about her.
They were like, get her away from us now. Guess who's going to jail tonight?
She's literally just like creating chaos.
Yeah. They
she
also
lives
accused
to create
her.
Chaos.
Literally, they accused her of also marrying their father while he was so sick that he really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I believe he died of throat cancer, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure. I don't know the details. I don't know how quickly this was brought on. All I know is that he only found out about his diagnosis eight weeks prior, married her 6 weeks prior to his death, and then passed away in 2003.
Damn, I didn't realize that his death was that fast either.
I didn't realize either. Oh my gosh.
I thought like he knew for a while.
That's what I thought. What's interesting about the OJ case, there's also the OJ curse.
Yeah.
Which, knocking on wood around me. But,
yeah.
I'm just going to say this because, knocking on wood again, pop culture, I guess, is somebody once told me about the OJ curse, is that Robert Kardashian got like the lesser of all the evils of all the different ways that these lawyers had passed. And I do always find it interesting, they're different versions, because Robert Kardashian's was throat cancer, it has to do with his speaking.
Yeah.
And all the other ones die in different ways. That's all I'm going to say. I just think it's an interesting thing to think about if you're into those pop culture curses.
That's freaky.
I think it's just an interesting little tidbit to have a conversation about. But that's not what we're talking about today.
No. Today is about Kim and Kanye.
Let me get to my Kim page then.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian, the most famous Libra in the world, is what I titled this.
Not the most famous Libra.
In this essay, I will. So just to go over a really quick rundown of Kim's history. In 2003, she was working as a stylist for Brandy and Paris Hilton. What's important to know about this is, like, as a stylist back then, we weren't looking at stylists as we do now, like Law Roach. We were looking at them as, like, personal shoppers.
Like, she was known as, like, an assistant, technically. Yeah. Like, that was the same kind of, like, role that you had. You just kind of filled them both.
Yeah, she got her first job when she was 16 at a clothing store, and that's kind of how she branched off into stylist. So I don't want you to think of stylist as like, ooh, wow, she's a stylist. She's like up there, like doing red carpets. No, she's like going to stores
doing, like,
and
personal
buying stuff
shopping
and organizing closets and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't think of her as this, like, she's upper class, but don't think of her as the status that she is now or how we think of stylists today.
Yeah.
Some other evidence of this. Brandy's mother and manager said that she once allowed Kim to make a purchase on her credit card for Brandy, But then Kim and her sisters ended up spending $120,000 on that credit card. Most of it was spent at the Dash Boutique, which was famously owned by the three sisters. Kim, of course, was fired, and they were also sued, and they settled in 2009.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Another important thing to note, at this time, Kim was married. Kim was in her first marriage at this time.
She was married to, I believe his name is Damon Thomas.
Yes.
And if I am correct, I believe this was her abusive marriage that she was in. Yeah.
Yes. So that marriage ended, of course. Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God.
But all this is going on at the same time of kind of Kim's rise to fame. She has a ton of drama with Brandy and Brandy's family, because if you don't also know, Kim was dating Brandy's brother Ray J while she was working for the family.
Yeah.
This leads us to the infamous tape. Now, if you're watching Pam and Tommy while we're talking about this, you might notice a lot of similarities in the Pamela Anderson and the Kim Kardashian story.
Mm-hmm.
So just to go over the tape, it was filmed in 2002. So this was prior to Kim really getting her full-time job with the family, but she was still involved with the family. When asked about the reason for filming, Kim said, "I was horny and I felt like it." Period. Period.
That's kind of funny.
Honestly, you know what? If you're going to do it, own it.
Yeah. You know what? I've said this for years. I think Kim Kardashian is actually a really funny person.
She's hilarious.
She's hilarious, and she doesn't get the credit for that.
No.
You know?
But she should.
She should.
The tape was leaked in 2007, right when the show Keeping With the Kardashians first came out. So we can get a little bit more into the tape later. But as we get into the show, I think it's time we go over a little bit of the history of nobody works harder than Kris Jenner.
The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Nobody works harder than Kris Jenner.
No.
So some things about Kris Jenner. She also came from a upper middle class family, upper class, depending on how you want to look at the situation. She has worked many jobs in her life. She was famously a flight attendant before marrying Robert Kardashian.
Yes.
She's worked her butt off. So, as I said before, Kris has admitted to cheating on Rob, which led to their divorce. But I think they famously stayed in a pretty tight relationship. They were friends up until his passing, and she still views him in a very high regard.
Yeah.
And like I said before, Kris married then Bruce, now Caitlyn Jenner, in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
That relationship would end in 2013, so they would be together for, I didn't do the math before this.
What year did they marry?
20-something years? 1991. 20-something years.
And 22.
Okay, 20-something. 20-something, that was right. Let me get my family tree out. Okay. Here's Kris. Kris with Caitlyn then has Kendall and Kylie. Caitlyn had two wives prior to this. That's Christy and Linda. Through Christy, there's Bert. Why did I say Bert? There's Bert and Cassandra. And then with Linda, there's Brody and Brandon.
Ah. Okay.
And that's how that side of the family tree goes out.
I definitely thought that, I haven't looked into that whole family history, but I definitely thought that all those 4 kids were from the same mom too.
No.
Huh.
No.
Damn, Caitlyn.
Lots of marriages and divorces in this family tree, which is why not everything could be pictured, because I was very confused on how I draw divorces.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now in the current Kardashian-Jenner joint household, there's Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, Rob, Kendall, and Kylie, all living under the same roof.
Yes.
Some other things going down with Kris is back in the 90s, after Caitlyn had finished their Olympic run, it's sometimes hard for Olympians to find careers after the Olympics, especially when they age out or they're unable to compete again. Kris pushed Caitlyn into making workout tapes in the 90s, which jump-started their career back into the mainstream media. That's when we see Caitlyn on cereal boxes again, doing interviews and on TV, all thanks to Miss Kris Jenner. You're welcome.
She's a genius.
When they say Kim gave her family a career, the reality is Kris gave her family a career.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Because technically Kim had that tape, right? But how did she recover from it? From Kris Jenner's help.
Also, like I said before, the tape did not come out prior to the show. The
Mm-hmm.
tape came out after the show had began to air, which I'm about to get into. But that's a really important thing to remember. They didn't do the show because Kim had a sex tape.
Yeah.
The sex tape happened during the show, which only skyrocketed the whole
Yeah.
of them. But it's important to note that there was still story before that.
Yes.
Which brings me to the infamous Sunday barbecue. So if you don't know the story of how the Kardashian show began, Kris in 2006 had the idea to make a reality show about her family. She thought, we're crazy, we're funny, this would be good TV. So she brought the idea to Ryan Seacrest, who had his own production company, and he was looking to make something kind of similar to the Ozzy Osbourne family show that they had.
Yes.
So she pitched the idea. He was like, I guess. And he hired one cameraman to go to their Sunday barbecue. And they signed on for a show after that.
He literally saw like the footage, like 5 minutes of it, and was like, all right, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, we're in. We gotta do
think,
this.
The quote is something where he says, like, the family is so crazy, but at the end of the day, they're like so filled with love.
Yeah. But it's like a genuine show because the family is genuine in itself, in the craziness and the love and everything, you know?
And the other really interesting part that I found while looking through this is the show originally, when it was pitched and aired, was not called a reality TV show. It was called a non-scripted family sitcom, which is very different. If you know, like, non-scripted shows versus reality shows are two different things. They're both scripted in the sense of, like, they have to have a storyline they're following through. But non-scripted is more so that they have an entire plot made for them, and they just fill in the blanks. They're just like, oh, we would say this if this was the situation. We're going to make up a plot that Dash got broken into. The Dash did not really get broken into, but things happen.
No.
On a reality show, Dash could have really gotten broken into, and then they're just reacting to it, but they're editing and kind of scripting out when they're going to find out, when we hear about it and whatnot. So there's differences there.
Yeah.
I found that particularly interesting because I think you'll see as the show progresses. I know I've said this, that the show has gotten more real as their lives have gotten less real.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to make up anything anymore. They're so entertaining and so interesting that they can just do whatever they're doing and live their lives.
Yeah, it becomes more grounded in the sense where, like, people like them for them. They don't have to make a scenario for people to follow them. They're just watching for them, and their lives in itself are entertaining enough that, like, we'll just watch them to see what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's true.
It's true. They are so entertaining.
And
I love it.
I hate to admit it, but I eat them up. Everything they put out,
I
gotta know what they're doing. I have to know what Kim was doing at the Balenciaga show. I have to know what happened with Kylie. I gotta know. They're entertaining. They're comforting. I don't know what to tell you.
I think it's also in a sense where, like, it's like, I don't know, I didn't like them as much early on, but again, the more grounded they got, the more I liked them, because I was like, oh yeah, I can see myself, like, being friends with one of them, or you know, like, enjoying my time with them. Like, that's what really carries a reality show.
They also were the perfect example of right place, right time, where the show began right as social media started to become what we think of it now. Like, Facebook was just starting to beginning, and Twitter was starting, and Instagram was starting. It was like a couple years into the show was like the beginning of Instagram.
Yeah. I think it was like 2011.
Yeah.
2012 maybe.
Yeah, which reminds me of, I remember I was watching a Nicki Minaj documentary, and she talked about how important social media was for her in building her career, while other people were, like, out, like, on the streets trying to sell her CDs. She's like, I spent most of my time curating fans on the internet, which I think the Kardashians also were doing at the same time.
Specifically Kim. And then obviously the Jenner sisters when Instagram started up. But yeah, Kim was, like, the head of Twitter, like, basically, for a good chunk of the 2010s.
Could you imagine having that kind of, like, influence and power, though? Could you imagine? No. That's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. Also, the fact that she would just tweet stuff like the oh my god, what did she say? Like, I made it to, like, Stockholm or something. She's like, I love the toaster strudel here. Like, I'm like,
I love like early 2000s Twitter and like early 2010s Twitter. is
Mhm.
peak. It was 100%. That was the peak. Like Harry
Yeah.
Styles tweeting like some like random words
Just
that
like
aren't a
banana.
sentence. Yeah,
Just like something. And you're like, oh my God.
that was art,
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
Yeah. But
Oh, we gotta
I
go
was
back.
just, we do have to go back. But again, just going to the Kardashians again, I think it's really important to go over their history because I think sometimes they get like confused with, they are nepotism babies. Let's not get that confused. But I think they get
They are.
confused with they didn't work for anything. But when it comes
Yeah.
to Kris and Kim, I would say those two women have really built themselves, not from the ground up, from maybe like level 1 to level
Maybe like
140 something.
halfway through the apartment complex.
Yeah. But like
Yeah.
that doesn't discredit how much they've gone through
No,
and
yeah,
worked for.
at all.
If you think about the trauma that the Kardashian sisters have gone through, Kim also in
Kim
particular.
alone. Yeah. Kim just alone. My God.
I think I said in another episode, I wouldn't wish the things that she's gone through on my worst enemy.
No. No.
But before we get to that, we got to talk about now the famous, infamous, iconic show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Maybe the best title for a TV show I've ever heard in my life.
I really, this is like, I know that like the Real Housewives is very iconic. There's like tons of iconic TV
It
shows.
doesn't equate.
Nothing's gonna beat this. Nothing is gonna beat this show. I don't
The
think you guys understand.
Oh, oh
Like
my God.
nothing,
Just the
no
name
other
gets me excited.
reality show, like compared to this, you would not take like a clip, right? Of like, Kim, would you stop taking pictures of yourself? Your sister's going to jail, and have a wide variety of people know exactly what it's from. Like, there's no other reality show that's done that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything from like Real Housewives that like my dad would know a line from, right? But he would know like that line from the Kardashians.
And it's crazy because they're not the birth of reality TV either.
No,
they
were
weren't
the
reality
reinvention.
TV. That's the
Yeah.
great. They weren't reality TV.
I think that like they weren't, but the way that they went about it, and then they're like I'm like blanking on the word, but just like the way that they went about it and like continued their show is what shaped reality TV from then on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like the reinvention of reality TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
I mean, I wish I could have. I wish I was 18 when that show came out, so I could like understand it a bit more.
I know. I remember like the first time I ever heard about Kim Kardashian, it was like one of my family friends. They said that at the market, some lady thought that she was Kim Kardashian, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's the biggest compliment I could ever get." And I had no idea who that was because my mom didn't watch reality TV or anything. You know, she had no idea. And so then it was like, was it Disaster Movie that she was in? She was in like one of those, and that was the first time I ever saw her.
It was Disaster Movie?
It's like one of those, like the parody movies. Like it's like date movie, disaster movie, like those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's who she is. And I had no like definition of who she was. I didn't know if she was a singer. I didn't know if she was an actor. I had no idea.
You're like, she's a woman.
Yeah, I was like, she's a famous lady.
She's there.
Yeah. But she made that title for herself. I will tell you that.
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect. I really like Kim Kardashian. Sorry.
I do too. I have a lot of respect for Kim Kardashian. I think she's obviously done some wrongs, some very bad wrongs. But
I can respect people for digging themselves out of holes and also not respect everything they've done in their life.
Yeah.
Both can exist at the same time.
Yeah. Well, all right. Do you have any more notes on
no, that is the pre-Kardashian.
Okay.
Life, or pre-show life.
Okay. So I took some notes. Now we're going into Kim and Kanye. This is what I have. I have the full timeline of when they met. So 2003, like we said, she was working for Brandy. And Kanye was a friend of Brandy's. So when she was there working with Brandy, there's a quote. She said, I met him, I think in 2002 or 2003. He was recording a song with Brandy and I was her friend. Notice how she said I was her friend, not I was her assistant. I vividly remember hanging out with him, and then they did a video together, so I'd seen him a few times. He was asking his friends, who's this Kim Kardashian? He didn't even know what my name was, end quote. So, like, he just was going around town. Like, there were multiple quotes that I saw that he said, even like on a radio show, he was like, "Who's Kim Kardashian? Who's
I
Kim Kardashian?" Like, he was just like
There's
messing it
one
up
thing
even
I will
more.
give Kanye, he is consistent.
He is consistent. I'll give him that.
He's consistent. If he's gonna be that way, he is always gonna be that way.
Mm-hmm.
If he's gonna like this one person, he is
He will like him.
always gonna like that person.
Yeah. Well, so after that, there wasn't much news between them. Like, they were friends, pretty much, like kind of distant friends. I guess the whole Brandy thing
Didn't pan out too well
didn't
for that
well, it didn't pan out
relationship.
too well, but it also didn't do much to their friendship apparently. So, um, there wasn't any news about them until 2008, and that's when Kanye wanted to make a hip hop puppet show called Alligator Boots. Yeah, it's camp.
Now, you know how I
Yeah.
said KUWTK Kardashian is one of the best names I've ever heard?
Hmm.
Alligator Boots, I'm
Alligator
gonna put number
Boots.
2.
Alligator Boots gives me like Rocket Man vibes,
I love it.
you
I want
know?
a shirt right now.
Yeah. Um, so there was like maybe a Star Wars type episode, and the director Tom Stern said that he wrote the part of Princess Leia for another actress, but Kanye said, "No, no, 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 get Kim Kardashian." So they got Kim Kardashian, and she's playing Princess Leia. They filmed it, but the show never took off. So she got to play it, but we will probably never see it. There's
That's
pictures, just no
hurtful.
videos.
I hope the quote
Um,
was a direct quote from Kanye. No, 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 no.
it's actually a quote from the director talking about Kanye,
No, no, no,
saying
no,
that
no.
he said, "No, no, 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 get Kim Kardashian."
Period.
Um, so then again, nothing for a year until 2009, and that's when Kanye references Kim and Carrie Hilson's song "Knock You Down" when he was the feature on it.
Another
I don't know if you remember
hit
that banger. Yeah, it's a
banger.
banger. She was dating Reggie Bush at the time. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was a big deal. She was dating
Mm-hmm.
Reggie. Um, so the quote or his verse, his little like feature is, "You were always the cheerleader of my dreams, seemed to only date the head of football teams, and when I was the class clown that always kept you laughing, we were never meant to be, baby, we just happened." And then later in the song, he says, "You should leave your boyfriend now."
He honestly, say what you want about Kanye, king of
That,
manifesting.
that,
King of manifesting.
yeah. Like, honestly, I was like,
Say what you want, say it,
damn.
but admit
Like,
this.
I knew that like verse before I'd listened to it, but I never like correlated it between the two. And now
Yeah.
knowing that like it's because of Reggie Bush that he was like football players, cheerleaders, like the whole thing. Wow,
Hmm.
that's pretty good.
Interesting.
Um, so then after that, again, nothing for a year. Literally nothing. Like no one says anything. 2010, Kanye is on Kim and Courtney Take New York. He
Yes.
literally made a TV appearance when they went to Dash. Um, and Kim says, quote, "Kanye and I have been good friends for a long time. He's someone that we definitely respect his fashion taste and his style, and so we wanted him to come check out the store." Also, she was dating Chris Humphries at the time of this.
Yes. On my
So,
family tree, you might notice at the bottom that I have left out Kim's first and second husbands.
okay.
Um,
I have Chris in here just as a little
yeah, yeah.
some, because there's some drama, some spice. But yeah, she was dating him at the time of that. So I also think, and like this is known in pop culture, that like Kanye was just pining for Kim this
Yeah.
whole time. He just, he wanted her so bad. And she was like, "No, no, you're so funny. Thanks, though."
She is the epitome of Maddie in Euphoria in the first episode of the second season with the "Can I
No,
kiss you?"
no. She is Maddie in Euphoria.
No.
That's who she is. Um, okay, this next point makes me laugh. So it's 2011. Another year goes by. Kanye tried to convince Kim to not marry Chris Humphries.
Sounds about right. Sounds right.
Yeah. What I have on here says he wasn't on the guest list for the wedding, but he revealed that he bought a cell phone to call Kim and dissuade her from going through with the marriage. And this came out like on the Cocktails with Chloe show that happened. I don't know if you remember that, but she had a little show on E! Yeah, this all came out on that show. He said, quote, I got a phone because somebody decided they wanted to marry Chris Humphries. I wasn't up to anything, and I looked on the internet, and there was Kim Kardashian was some extremely tall person. I was like, I need to call her or something, end quote. He said he began sending her photos of former basketball players that haven't aged well.
Okay. Looking back, this is not healthy. In the moment, this is hilarious.
It's hilarious, but it's awful.
Yeah,
really
looking
bad.
back, not okay. Looking back, big red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, quote, I started sending her pictures of like certain basketball players that used to be cool that now they wear their parents like all the way up to here. Like, that's your future, end quote.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's not funny.
Sorry. No, but it's serious.
No, but it's serious. Like, the behavior's a little scary.
Sorry.
But it is fun. See, now you know what I mean, where I was like, no, I had to keep Chris Humphries in here because this is funny. So then August 20th, 2011, she goes through with the marriage. She marries Chris Humphries in Montecito, and then on October 9th and 10th, I don't know if you guys remember, or if you remember this, but this was such a big deal, this fucking wedding special. Like, on E.
My God.
Like, when I tell you, I didn't watch E. I didn't watch the show still. And it was on Good Morning America, like, both mornings. They were like, okay, who's watching Kim Kardashian's wedding tonight? It's happening tonight. Because it was this just giant, like, extravagant, like, it looked like a ball.
Multiple part special of the show.
Literally, like, it was insane. So that aired on E. Literally, not even 3 weeks later, Kim files for divorce on Halloween.
The infamous 72-day marriage.
Yeah, say what you want, but like, she's got a lineup. The infamous sex tape, the infamous 72-day marriage.
She is an infamous woman.
She is. So then there's not any news until April 2012. Kanye raps about how he's in love with Kim on this song Cold. The quote says, and I'll admit I fell in love with Kim around the same time she had fell in love with him. Well, that's cool, baby girl, do your thing. Lucky I ain't had Jay drop him from the team, end quote. So for context on that, the last line in the verse takes a jab at Chris Humphries, who was a player on the Brooklyn Nets in 2012. But the thing is, when he was on the team, Jay-Z was a partial owner of the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, looking back, huge red flag. The red flag, it has like sirens going off. It is like bigger than a house. It is like blowing in the wind, flashing lights. In the moment, this is funny.
It's just like a power dynamic. Like, it's obviously like a power trip to be like, oh, guess what? Like, I don't like you with my girl. Guess what? My friend can get you fired off your team. Like,
yeah, also, the
so
girl
obvious.
that is not your girl. The girl that is literally married to that guy, even if they are getting a divorce currently. Ironic, Kanye. Moving on.
Courtney later confirmed that her sister was seeing Kanye on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She added that she wasn't sure how serious they were since they'd been friends for so long. And then Kim said, quote, I mean, just because I'm seeing with someone, does that automatically mean that that's my boyfriend?
Possibly Kim.
She said that on the episode.
Possibly Kim.
Which, it could either be a way of being like, guys, maybe watch next week and you'll find out like if he is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or it's her just genuinely being like, why does it, like, everyone thinks that I'm with a guy if I step outside with them.
She's right.
Then same month, they start making public outings together. Then the next month, Kanye starts attending family events. So it's like, oh, okay, so he's getting in. He's getting in the family. August, this is when the infamous Kanye makeover happens. August 2012.
I love this episode.
I hate it because it scares me.
I was like, I have to watch this. This is TV gold to me. I love a makeover, so.
I don't know about you, but like at this point, I didn't know much about Kanye West. I had heard like some songs, obviously, like the hits that came out. And I really just knew about like the Taylor Swift fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
So like my whole perspective of this man was terrified. I'm terrified of this man. Just from Taylor Swift to now being like, I'm gonna dress you. Like,
You know,
huh?
okay. So, yeah, I knew all that existed, but my mom loved Stronger.
Oh, I love Stronger. No.
She knew that
Oh my
song by
God.
heart. So every day when my sister's going like cheer practice and we were driving her, she'd put it on. She'd be like, "You need to listen to this.
Work.
You should be honored by my lateness. That would even show up to this play shit. So yeah, go ahead, go nuts, go ape shit." And I was in the back and I was like, "Go nuts, go
Like,
ape shit. Act like you can't tell who made this."
What?
Like my dad loved Heartless,
Oh,
right? Like, come
808s and
on.
Heartbreaks. Come on. Like Heartless, Stronger, Gold Digger.
Come on now.
I mean.
So
Come
like
on.
I
And
think like
American Boy.
iconic. I think for me, like when I heard Kanye West, I was like, "That's that guy there, but has some really good songs, and I like those songs." So on the show, and I was like, "Kanye's on the show." Like I was like,
He's on
"Oh
the show.
shit!" He's like, "I'm gonna style you," and I was like, "Yeah, Styler!" Like,
Oh my God. Well, she said when this happened, I think this is on the show. She said, quote, Kanye's definitely inspired me to be a little bit more of an individual. I just think my style is evolving and changing, and I think it should because that's what life's about. End quote. Now, obviously, we have two different viewpoints right here, just the two of us. This says some fans were a little turned off by the makeover and found it extremely controlling because there is a point in the show where Kanye's stylist finds a pair of heels in Kim's closet and throws them away. And Kim just starts crying because they're her favorite pair of heels and they would not let her keep them.
yeah, I don't enjoy that,
Yeah.
but I also do like. I think Kim has very much always followed through with like, "I'm evolving, I'm changing, so things are gonna change."
Yeah.
And the way that I dress myself, the way I view myself changes as I evolve and change. I think that seems natural. And I also think when you begin a relationship with a person, you kind of do go through that phase of like, "Oh, I'm really into this stuff now because
Yeah.
that person's into that stuff." And I think that's natural. But I think Kanye is an extreme person. And so he takes the natural experiences and makes them extreme,
Yeah. He
which
also
is
was
a,
always known for his fashion. So I think for her, she was also known for her fashion. But the thing is, like, if he's known for it and he's like a fashion icon at that point, she's obviously going to want to be
yeah.
deemed equally as well.
Also, Kanye is now starting to get the thing that he has been trying to get for years and years and years. Of course, he's going to go over the top for it.
Yes.
It's Kanye West, which we'll get into probably next week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the next chunk of news, this is like when we're in. We are in Kimye. It is official. It is thriving. December 2012, she's pregnant.
The beginning of the Kardashian West family.
I thought you were going to say the beginning of the end, and I was like, damn.
Should I bust out my family tree?
Yeah, bust out the tree.
Okay.
Well, actually,
Okay.
hold on. Sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
The way that they announced this was kind of funny because he just went on during his New Year's Eve performance and was like, "Hey, we're having a baby." Like, just kind of throw it out there, and everyone's like, "What? Okay, cool." And then Kim tweets and is like, "It's true. Kanye and I are expecting a baby. We're so blessed, lucky. Da 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 da. His mom and my dad could be, or we wish that his mom and my dad could be here to celebrate this special time with us." Right?
I just know that she had no idea he was going to say that.
And that's what I mean. He literally just out of nowhere was like, "We're having a baby." Like very, what's Tommy Lee?
Oh my
Very
God.
Tommy
That's
Lee.
what I'm saying. There's a lot of similarities there.
Mm-hmm. Even just in the demeanor of both of them, like very similar. So moving on, May 2013, they attended the Met Gala for the first time as a couple. I don't know if you remember this. This was a very famous
carpet dress.
The couch dress.
Yeah. Iconic.
This was actually Kim's first Met Gala that she ever attended, and she wasn't even invited.
Mm-hmm.
She was just Kanye's plus one because he was performing, which is absolutely kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like at that point, that's kind of nuts.
If you
You-
think about like other things Kim has gone through with Kanye, like she very famously talked about how her first publicist, she said, all I want to do is be on the cover of Vogue. And her
Mhm.
publicist was like, get some real dreams, honey.
Yeah,
Kim's first Vogue cover was with Kanye.
with Kanye. Yeah, wild, wild. Yeah. So then moving on, May 2013, or it's the same month, but May 2013, cheating rumors come out about Kanye. So a Canadian woman named Layla Gobadi reportedly claimed that she had sex with Kanye twice, once when Kim was pregnant, but the rapper denied ever cheating on her, which I believe.
Yeah, I would be, honestly, I'd be shocked if Kanye cheated on Kim. Like,
Yeah. He's a little too obsessed with her.
shocked.
Yeah, that he would do anything, you know?
Yeah. Considering his dating history post Kim is all just Kim copycats. But we
Yeah,
can get into that another time.
we'll get into that next week. So then June 2013, the icon, the legend, Northwest. She's
She's
born.
here.
She is here. Which is crazy when you think about it. 2013. Like it's gonna be 9 years this year. She's turning 9.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. I feel old. Like just thinking about that.
God.
Yeah. So then a couple months later in October, Kanye proposes to Kim in San Francisco with the very famous proposal. Yeah.
I hate how much I love it.
I know. If you guys don't know about this proposal, essentially, they filmed the whole thing on the Kardashians, so you can watch it. But he rented out the Giant Stadium in San Francisco, and he proposed to her on the field and on the big like jumbotron. It said, "Please marry me." And
The
like,
whole
I'm
family
not
was
lying.
there. He got the
There's
whole
like
thing set
extras.
up.
Yeah, they all like rushed the field after she said yes. Also, she was in that blonde era, you know, like when
Oh,
Kim
the
went like the
caramel
honey blonde.
blonde.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I do think is like very interesting and romantic, considerate, and strange, if you ask me, that Kanye set the whole thing up specifically to be filmed. Like
Yeah.
he planned the entire thing for the show, not planned a proposal, and then the show happened. The whole thing was
Well,
planned to be filmed.
I wonder if like he wanted to film it but not have it like go on the show. Like he was telling the family and the family was like, "Hold on, like we should put this in the show. This is a big deal." Cuz Kanye is a very private person. So I don't know if he would like want originally to be like, "Guys, you got to film this for the show."
No, to me it feels like he planned it out for the show, and he might have told the family, and he'd been like, "This would be good for TV as well," and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, do it," and it got organized around that way.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. It also feels like Kim's second wedding, the proposal was also on the show. That could also be a reason that he really wanted to make sure his was bigger and grander and on the show.
That would make a lot of sense, to be quite honest. He seems to be caught up with the exes and the boyfriends. So,
yeah, and as considerate as it might seem that he's like, I have to get this good for the show because this is her career. Yeah. I want to show how much of a better and bigger proposal I can give her.
That's true. That's true. Well, a month later, November 2013, another infamous, like when I tell you this is going to be in Kanye and Kim's career both forever, the Bound 2 music video came out.
Love the Bound 2 music video is so iconic.
Yeah. If you don't know, it's Kim. He's riding on a motorcycle and she's naked on the motorcycle riding with him. And this video got the meme treatment so bad that even Seth Rogen and James Franco remade it.
You want to know how big this music video was? This is when I first, like, kind of met you and we started our friendship. You got the fucking honey hat that wasn't from, like, official merch, but I remember you buying it. I was like, did you buy that because of Bound 2? And you were like, yes.
Yeah. Like, that song, I have so many memories with that song because, like, it's just, honey. Like, I used to say that for, like, 3 years.
I love that song. Sorry.
Yeah. That's also when Yeezus came out, was, I believe, the same month as when North was born.
Also interesting to note that prior to like his official engagement to Kim Kardashian, Kanye's music was much more like well received in the public and a lot more commercialized.
Yes.
Once he got Kim, you started to see he went down a path that's slightly, you could say, more artistic. Or you could say more controversial.
His muse. It was his muse for
Yeah.
Jesus.
But then also note, Kanye finally got the thing that he wanted. And
what
that's
had
when
been pining
things started to shift.
Yeah. Which, very interesting. And then a couple months later, like 6 months later, March 2014, like we said, they're the first biracial couple to cover Vogue, which was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know Kim said when they shot the cover, she said it was the best day of her life because she got to shoot Vogue. You know, she was on the cover of Vogue and it was with her husband.
And with her first child.
Yeah. Also, her mom was there, and like I guess her mom was crying the whole time because it was such a big deal. Like, it's very
doing amazing,
sweet.
Sweetie.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
What a full circle moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think Kim probably thinks this is, at this moment, probably her most healthy, stable relationship she's been in.
Yeah. Like, for her, she's being praised. Like, the ground that she's walking on is being praised by this man. He would do anything for her. They're, like, very in love, you know. It's very sweet, but
who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't? Come on. Now, she poses in a wedding dress on that cover, and they were not married yet. So a lot of people were like, are you guys like trying to like advertise your wedding? Like, is this like a marketing kind of?
Would that be shocking?
No.
No. It's the Kardashians and it's Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
Would that be shocking?
Not at all. Then 2 months later, May 2014, they got married in Italy. And this was actually on the show as well. Not the actual like wedding, but like everything else around it. Leading up to it was recorded.
And I ate every episode up.
Oh, bitch. This was when Kylie had her blue hair because there was a big deal. Kim was like, you need to dye your hair for my wedding. You cannot have blue hair. And Kylie's like, okay, I'll do it. And never did it.
I don't understand why she didn't just wear a wig. I will never.
Like, you're a Kardashian.
I will never understand.
You have the money.
She wore wigs at that time. It wasn't weird for her to wear a wig. But she was like, no.
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 The celebration began in Paris, where her bachelorette party was. Also, fun fact, it was supposed to be in Paris, and they told all the guests that it was going to be in Paris, and they all came to party, like, you know, rehearsal dinner, everything. And then they surprised them, and they took them to, or they had their rehearsal dinner at Versailles, which, insane. My God. Can you imagine?
The money.
Holy mother of God. They then flew them out that night from Versailles, like they were there. And they said, don't worry, guys, we packed up all your stuff. Our wedding's actually going to be in Italy, in Florence. Can you imagine?
I just wanted to say that, like, not that I wish I was in Kim Kardashian's shoes. That's not it. But I'm saying, like, my fantasy of, like, destination wedding, Paris and Florence, Italy. I get both. And a castle.
What I would give. Also, to have your rehearsal dinner at Versailles. Versailles, bitch.
Versailles,
bitch. That's insane. Oh. Well, at the wedding, she wore Mason Margiela, I believe, and he wore Givenchy.
Period.
And that is all the notes that I have for this episode.
Yes. Before we finish out the episode, we're going to go over a little bit of everything else that's going on with the family. We've kind of stuck with Kim and Kanye for most of this episode. Not that they have the most drama, but they will lead us into what we want to talk about next time. Mm-hmm. But to finish this out, it is important we go over everybody else because they've got a lot of shit too.
This family's insane.
We got my family tree shit. Okay, so we have Courtney gets with Scott. They are not married. They never get married. No. That's a big part of the show is that they don't want to get married. With Scott, she has Mason, Penelope, and Rain. Penelope, if you don't know, is in her TikTok era.
Queen.
Quality content.
She has like bright red hair. She's living her life.
Honestly, I kind of stand. I'm standing the 12-year-old. Scott, if you don't know, has had a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol, which I remember, I think not started, but like got a lot worse when both his parents passed away during the show.
Within a month of each other.
Which was a big deal because he was really involved with his parents and very close to them. Yeah. So then for Scott, his kind of now immediate family is the Kardashian family. Mm-hmm. Which is another like interesting thing because Scott has been so involved with everyone's trauma and the
Yeah.
entire family, how close-knit he is with everything.
Yeah, he is
Now,
essentially another brother. Like,
to be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Today, Kourtney is now engaged to Travis Barker, who has 2 children,
Yeah!
Alabama and Landon.
Woo, 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 woo.
Going down the line, where are we? Oh, okay. We're at Khloe, who was once married to, like it says down here, Lamar Odom. They supposedly were trying to have kids, but like Khloe was having a lot of fertility problems.
Yes.
Lamar was having a lot of issues. They ended up getting divorced. Lamar has had a lot of history with drug abuse and alcohol abuse. He even OD'd at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar has now come on the record saying that he still loves Khloe. He hopes that they can still be friends / possibly get back together. Why might they possibly get together? Because Khloe and Tristan are now not together. Khloe and Tristan, however, do have the baby True.
Tristan, you whore.
The infamous whore, Tristan famously cheated on Khloe during the relationship while this bitch was giving birth.
Literally 2 days before she gave birth, she found out. Or the day before.
It was like she was in labor and the video had hit the internet. And cheated on her as they got back together.
The timing, I always feel so bad for Khloe because the timing of everything.
You almost feel bad for Khloe.
Well, no, I mean, just like in general with like everything that happens, it's always the timing.
Oh, this poor girl gets screwed over.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of drama there. Anyways, then we go on to Rob, who was once dating, who has dated many iconic women, can I just say?
Many.
But for the purposes of this chart, was with Blac Chyna, and they have a daughter named True. Why is this important? Because Blac Chyna has a connection to Kylie Jenner. Why? They both, I know it's mirrored so you can't read it, dated Tyga. Tyga and Blac Chyna have a child together. But Tyga and Kylie Jenner were together for, I don't know how many years.
Like 2 years?
A good enough amount of time. Also, we're all pretty sure they were dating while Kylie was a minor. Nobody was
absolutely. They met when she was, I think, 15.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
They have all lied to us and said that they only started dating when she was 18. And I'm like, yeah, I bet.
No.
Whatever. So there was that drama there. Very weird, almost incestual triangle going on there.
The amount of connections that this family has, like the intertwining, it freaks me out.
I don't like it. Wasn't there something with Kendall and Tristan Thompson too?
No, there was Kendall and Travis Scott.
Got you.
Yeah.
Back onto my sheet then.
Fucking weird.
Kendall, who's now, I believe, dating Devin Booker.
Yes.
Another basketball player. But they are not married. They don't have children. Mm-mm. Her family tree ends here for now. Kylie was dating Tyga for years and is now with Travis Scott. They have 2 children, Stormy and Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And for now, this is where the Kardashian tree has stopped.
I believe Kourtney and Travis are going to have a kid.
Possibly. I don't know.
Like, I don't want to say that they're too old because I'm not trying to say that they're old. I just like, that would be the only thing stopping them, I feel like. You know? I feel like they would want to have a kid together.
Possibly, but they also have like a 5-child blended family and Scott.
Okay. Kourtney's used to that.
I guess they have the funds that it's not really going to matter. It's not an issue. But they also are, and in no shame, a slightly up there in age. And all their children are starting to get to a point where they're a little bit more self-sufficient and they could go on trips and run away and do whatever they want. I mean, they have nannies, so like this is kind of irrelevant anyway. But I feel like maybe they're both in a point where they're like, we don't really want to worry about a baby and like fun.
Yeah, but Kourtney also said that she wanted to have another kid. So like, I know that like if she was going to, it would be with him. You know?
Oh yeah.
So.
I mean, they seem very happy for them. Kourtney definitely seems less bitchy. That's for sure. The other important drama that is another weird tie on this family tree is that third cheating scandal from Tristan Thompson was with Kylie Jenner's best friend at the time, Jordan
Woods.
Reportedly, this is big news. If you don't know about it, you're living under a rock. Let's just put it that way.
Literally, this was like the biggest news of that year.
The editing when this came on the show should have won them an Emmy. It was insane. If you don't know about it, I'm not going to go over it. You lived under a
Go
rock.
watch the episodes. If you want to know, oh my God. I could rewatch them.
Oh, I will. I could and I will.
I could and I will.
The weird family connection, though, is that Kylie, who's now not friends with Jordan, Jordan's little sister is very close friends with Travis Barker's daughter, Alabama.
Wait, really?
Yes.
God, I feel like the circle, like, it seems big, right? Of, like, all these celebrities, but, like, the kids are, it's not that big. It's kind of scary.
Like, you guys don't have any other friends?
Yeah. Also, the Smith family is, like, a common factor in there, too. That's wild.
Yeah. The family tree seems ridiculous, and it is.
It is. It's because it is.
Like, intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, fun fact about me is before I even drew this sheet out is I could have named every member of the Kardashian family tree by heart.
I think I could too.
I can name like every one of Kris Jenner's grandchildren.
I can name like the grandchildren and everything. I don't know like anything with like Caitlyn Jenner's family besides Brandon, Brody, Bert, and like Kendall and Kylie.
The only ones that I did not know by heart were Christy's name, Caitlyn Jenner's first wife, I believe, and I didn't write down Travis Barker's first wife's name, but I think I know it. I just didn't write it down.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
But like I know her name, I just am not. I can't remember it in the time that I'm saying this.
I just know she was in that girl group.
Sorry,
what something Kane.
Her last name's Barker too. Like I know the name's not hard. I know it's not like a unique name. I know it's easy and it's just.
I feel like it's a D.
Probably whatever.
I don't know.
But that is the Kardashian family tree. That is the beginning of the Kardashians and the beginning of Kimye.
The Kimye breakdown that we have going on, which will continue next week.
So you'll have to just sit tight and do the following. You'll have to subscribe.
You'll have to
have to follow. You'll have to like. And
you have to do all of it.
Yeah, and you're probably going to want to, I'm just saying, you're probably going to want to comment on any part of our social media. Why? The algorithm will remind you when new things are coming off. You don't want to miss it.
And I have my own personal favorite Kardashian moments, but I love to hear your guys's. If you want to comment like either an episode or a quote, whatever it is, I'd like to hear it from everyone else. Michelle, what's your favorite?
That was the deepest breath. Could you have my favorite? Oh, I really love when Khloe goes to Kourtney's house and talks about the Wi-Fi. And Kourtney goes, I don't have a Wi-Fi connector. Right? It's about the radiation. And Khloe goes, you're going to die either way. You want to die with a good Snapchat going through.
That is a good one.
I think about that more time. It's the radiation.
The Wi-Fi. It's about the radiation.
I think about that quote more than I'd like to admit. I know a lot of them, but that one I repeat in my head more than I want to admit. Maddie, what is your favorite Kardashian quote?
It's not a quote, but it's a moment. It's when Khloe and Kris get drunk at Casa Vega and then they go TP Kim's house and they go through the Walgreens drunk and Kris just starts opening toothbrushes and brushing her teeth with them. I think that's one of the best moments on that show ever. I think a close second, and this is just the one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, is Kylie, I'm gonna get wasted. Because I feel like we don't see her personality enough. And like that was finally like, yes, we got something. And she seems like fun.
Yeah, and I love it when Kendall and Kylie fight because now the other girls are crazy. Don't get me wrong. The other girls can fight. They've gotten in physical fights, but Kylie and Kendall, they bring something special to the table. They're some WWE subscribers.
I thought about, you said the other girls can fight, and I immediately thought of Kim getting smacked against the wall and her body pink.
I think of when Kendall accused Kylie of stabbing her in the neck with her heel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're missing if you don't watch the Kardashians.
Literally, like, literally, just, even if you don't like them, I'm telling you, it's entertaining. I'm sorry.
Do it.
It's so
guilty pleasure or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's good TV.
I
Get
will
over
literally
it.
make a guide of the good episodes, like the must-watch episodes of
Yeah.
this show.
And
'Cause
you
I
need to
have
catch
watched
up
it.
prior to the new show coming out.
Yes, that new show, it comes out, is it this month or next month?
Soon. That's why we're doing these episodes.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
Yeah, so like we were saying, if you want to be here next week for not the conclusion, but the follow through of the Kimye story up to present day, you need to follow us on our social media and subscribe to our YouTube and to the podcast.
yes. On TikTok we're at the pop.pod, and then Instagram we're at the the.pop.podcast. Tongue
It's
twister.
confusing. Just look up the Pop Podcast and it will
It'll
pop up somehow. Yeah.
It'll pop up. If it's
Yeah.
blue and pink, it's us.
And
you
two
know?
little white blonde girls, it's us.
That's it. That's it. It's us.
So
But,
yeah, like we said, follow, like, subscribe, do all the interacting stuff, because then you will get reminders when next week comes out, and you'll be able to tell everybody you know the Kimye saga and keep up in conversations about it. Because this is actually a really important conversation outside of just pop culture, but in abusive relationships, mental health, misogyny.
Yes, there's a lot of topics that are covered.
Yeah.
To be honest, and also I noticed that like the audience that we have tends to really like case studies. This is a very interesting case study. It's so long that we have to do 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And also it's very relevant right now. Because this is literally happening before our eyes. So
be here next week. I don't know how many times I have to remind you.
Come back next week, guys. Come on.
We will see you there.
All right. Bye, besties.